to discuss attorney-client privilege information. We're going to go back to 87-2021 that was originally tabled to the end of the meeting. The resolution is consider the installation of a three-way stop sign at the intersection of Rose Avenue and Kinsella Drive. Is that a motion? I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It passes 5-0.
Then I'm going to make a motion.
Hold on. I was going to open public comment and then, or do you want to do that now? Okay.
So you're not moving the note.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you should hear this. 4-1, Eric voted no. Now I'm going to open citizens' general comments and questions. So if you have a comment or question, you'd like to come to the microphone. Sorry, Tom, that was separate, so I figured we did have to public comment.
Okay, Kenny Strain, Windsor Woods, 4022 Surveys Drive. My question to the board is, I see a number of signs all over the township about saving the fire department. What is that about? Is there some issue about not funding, but do they need citizen participation for something that they want to do?
So those signs were not generated by the township or by any of the volunteer fire companies.
I didn't get up and look closer, but I see them all over the place.
Those were not generated by the volunteer fire companies. If you look close enough, there is a person's name at the bottom of those signs.
Oh, okay.
The township, as we have stated repeatedly to the volunteer fire companies, they understand. We've met with 2 of them. We have a meeting Wednesday with the 3rd. We intend to fund them at the same level that they have been funded at for the past, I forget when we changed it, 5 years ago, I think we changed it to 1 mil per department. That will continue to be the same. They are satisfied, they're happy. I can't speak to why those signs were put up, but I can tell you in speaking, we've spoken to Muse and Lawrence, going to Cecil on Wednesday. They understand that. We intend to work with them. I think it came from the advertisement for a fire chief, which we are still working on that, hiring a fire chief. But hiring a fire chief is unrelated to their funding. The fire chief's salary will come out of the township general fund.
Okay, thank you very much, because I just didn't understand. I thought maybe there was possibly a consideration to consolidate some, or build another one in another part of the township.
So we said this, we stated this, we meet with them once a month. At our last meeting, we made it very clear to them that if consolidation is something that they want to do for the 3 departments, we would support them in that. I can't speak to what will happen in the next 3 to 5 years, but right now there's no plan to force consolidation. And so again, I don't know where that came from. We have talked about putting a 4th fire station off of Klinger Road. That is an area of the township that is underserved by the 3 existing fire companies because the location just takes time for them to get to South Point from their existing stations. But our township is 27 square miles, so at no point would we eliminate any of the 3 existing fire companies. We need them, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, I thought with all those developments going on in the township that there was possibly a consideration to add another one sometime in the future.
As long as they want to be there, we will welcome them with open arms.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Kara Sheridan, 58 North Folly. I just had a couple things. I've been interacting with a lot of residents and I had some questions I just want to get verified, so I'm giving accurate information. So first, a number of people that I've talked to have had concerns recently about neighbors taking care of their yards, dead trees, cars and old campers and things like that on the property. Is the right thing for me to be telling them if they ask me personally to contact the code enforcement officer directly? Yep. That's the right course of action.
Mike will go right out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll get this information and make sure that I tell them that. Okay. There was a question, I don't know if they've ever brought up before in Georgetown Estates, that the intersection at Valley View and Lexington being any sort of a problem. A couple people had brought up that it's only a two-way stop right now, that there's a lot of people running through and having near misses at that intersection. Has that come up before?
It has, and the study was performed, and the analysis was there was no warrant for additional stop signs.
Okay, very good, thank you. Another thing is the paving of roads. That's probably a really common thing that comes up. I don't know, do we at any point sort of tell people what our plans are? Because I think people think, oh, well, this place is getting their road paved and maybe, you know, we should have been higher in the queue, or they don't know if they're, you know, scheduled for coming years. I just don't know if there's anything that we publish other than when it's officially approved.
So we work with Dan and Joe Sites to come up with a plan. Unfortunately, we can't tell people where the road is because things change on a yearly basis. Like things come up that we aren't planning for example, Kimber Road, or other various things that need more urgent repair. But we do undergo, with our township engineers, undergo an analysis with our director of public works every year to stay within about $1 million budget of paving and to do the roads that are most critical that year. So we do the best we can, and quite honestly, this is my 9th year on the board. We've made huge strides as far as moving the paving progress forward. It just takes time, and there's a lot of roads, a lot of square miles, and a lot of roads that need significant repair.
And generally, the list is made up by Frank and Bill, who go out and look at the roads, what condition they're in.
Okay.
It's not a matter of who goes before who, it's like the worst roads.
So I do like that idea, though. I mean, we brought it up maybe 4 years ago, but it was to put all of the roads in Cecil Township on a 20-year plan. And that way we would have, and it seems like that cycle, and then you just start over and start doing the roads all over again. So we had requested that, so I'd ask that the board think of that again, just that might be something that we do. And then by all means, roads deteriorate quicker, they would move up on the list, and some could go down.
Dan, isn't that sort of what happens now, though? I mean, we are, not because we played catch-up there for a period, but they are cyclical in that, you know, if it's just paved or recently paved, unless it's an emergent need for repair, it just goes in that cycle. The problem is, like this year, we had 2 major bridges fail that needed major repairs and major improvements, and so that hampered the amount of money that we could spend on paving. So we do try to do it.
Well, for the most part, I think our roads are all pretty good. They've all been paved, haven't they, Dan?
No, I agree. The township's made significant investments in the road in the past 10 years for sure. And I know that the aid of Bill coming on as the Public Works Director, Bill has a plan for the whole township in his head. And then he goes out and looks at it each year, and then he evaluates based upon whatever damage there is in the winter. Things might have gotten a little bit worse, and then he makes the final call and brings us in and says, hey, what do you think? And that's where we come up with a plan.
We're lucky too. I mean, we have our own paving guy on our board, so we rely a lot on Frank too, Frank and Bill, to go out there and look at stuff. So I'd be curious after the meeting, if you wouldn't mind, to just like tell us some of those roads.
Two quick ones, just I'd say where I heard it the most often was in Georgetown Estates, and then the one neighborhood that's off of here and Muse Bishop on the right-hand side.
Christine Field.
Christine
We
Field.
keep putting it off and off, but I think it's scheduled this year too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is this year. So if you want to.
Yeah, I'll go through, let me go through my list, I'll pull any more, but those were probably where I heard it the most. Music Post Office, if people ask, would he have any idea of timing?
Yeah. Oh, he said hopefully by the end of the year. So they just needed to work out a few more legal things, but it's looking promising. So
cool.
And thank you to our new fire chief, Corey Wonderly, who's been awesome at working with the post office to make this happen.
And I know the other one that came up quite a few times was that Ridgewood Drive Bridge. Do we know what timing is on that?
It's been put out to bid, so we will vote on, or
We're advertising.
it's been put out to bid, yeah, sorry. So we will vote on it at our June meeting.
And what do you think, like, if you decides to go forward by June, does the work start? I mean, are they like months behind?
It usually takes about a month to get contracts and get everything together, order materials and so forth. So they would be able to start it this year for sure, and I would anticipate them completing it this year.
There was a
You
little
said
bit
it's gonna take 3 months for a permit probably. From the
No,
DEP?
No, that's on the Township Public Works side.
Oh,
Yeah, we just need a general permit to do the bridge work.
We were delayed a little bit because of weather. We had to wait until we could get a better look at it to see what was really going on, what needed to be repaired, so that's what kind of pushed it a little bit.
Okay, last one, I promise. That's good news about the COVID funding. And one thing that perked my interest that I heard was you did say broadband. And I know that I've heard a lot of people, especially people with school-age children, that have had a lot of challenges over the last year that don't have access to broadband internet, myself included, but many others that have asked, is there something that the township can do? Could possibly there be additional work done with Comcast or others to kind of come up with some sort of an agreement to get some better pricing versus every individual going out and asking, like, they gave me a quote that if I go ahead and pay them $14,000, I can get them to put internet to my house in 9 months. You know, is there a way, is there anything we could investigate there to see for those parts of the township that aren't served by broadband internet today, if there's some kind of deal we could strike with them and maybe take advantage of some of that funding? I'm not asking for it to be fully subsidized, but I'm asking if it's something we could investigate.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
Any other comments? Mr. Chairman?
Anybody else?
I don't think so.